Good morning. So now it's a lovely Saturday morning, and today we are going to have an interview, front-end React lead positions. A bit about me before there's a few while for that interview. I am Praveen from IIT Kharagpur. I help people get jobs if you're jobless or if you want extra income. So no matter if you're watching this video and if you're jobless, we cannot blame you, of course, because your incapability may be because of the environment, wrong food, so you're not able to understand that. But let's see how we help you get a job, right? How we help you get more client, how we help you get better at job. So we train you. We give you real life experience. One of the thing which you have to explain, what were you working on, and if you can explain some very fantastic project, of some project which has changed the way the business was done, it is a very plus. You aced it that moment. And plus, you remember, when you're explaining about the project, you're taking away the interview time, and they are having less time to ask silly questions like silly theoretical, which anybody could search and get the answer, right? It's not about remembering. The interviewers are still in the old age. They think that we have to remember all the syntax, and we don't have to remember all, but we will help you remember all the syntax, because we will we'll make you superhuman. We'll make you superhuman, we'll make you genius, we will alter. Remember, you are not just the software, the knowledge which you assimilate. You are also your combination of hardware and software. If you don't have the brain, if you're incapable, no matter how much you study, you will not remember this. Like, you can study whole day if you want, you can get experience whole day if you want, but if your mind is not able to save that knowledge, it's worthless. You cannot answer a simple question when the interview asks, or you will freeze. You have less recall time, right? They will give you a very difficult problem. There are many interviews which take stress testing, which gives you. So we'll make you genius. We'll alter your environment. We'll alter your food, so that you become a genius, a superhuman. We'll make you superhuman. Right? What will the result? Why do you want to live healthy and happily for hundreds and hundreds of years? In UK, of course, you need to earn a lot of money for that, right? Living life requires a lot of money. So in UK, we can make you earn a lot. Not whether you are in UK, US, or India, doesn't matter which country you are. We can help you earn a lot of money. In UK, you can earn 300 to 600 pounds per day very easily. In USA, you can earn $100 to $200 per hour very easily. The reason I'm quoting this figure is because that's how they normally operate. In India, you could earn in millions per year, right? Or lakhs per month, whatever way you look at it. So usually in India, the salary is 1 to 2 million. That's the usual salary. And you have to understand the reason why it is. Offshore rate in India is typically $5 to $35 per hour. The big company charges more because they are big company, like big brand. Small companies for the same candidate charge less because they are unknown brand, right? So depending on the brand, the charge is 5 to 35, but 35 is the limit. And of course, bigger the brand give less money to developer. They only pay 20% to the developer. Smaller brand give 100% or maybe 67, like we give 67% to the developers. We also help you earn extra. You could earn extra in millions. It all depends on you, how much you want to do. You can take up extra project, ad-hoc project, and earn 300 to 1,000 rupees per hour. We even pay 10,000 rupees per hour, depending on if you're a specialist. If there's a need, we will give you. We are there. So why, we always there. We are hiring. We have, of course, our requirement is very tough. You have to be literally a genius to work for us. But we will make you the genius, right? So we are making you the genius. So we have a lot of requirement. Plus, there are certain role which doesn't require to be genius, So there are many kind of work which doesn't require. Automation is coming, so you have to be careful that yes, you have to go up the scale, because why will company hire you when a robot or computer can do the work themselves, right? They will hire to create those robots. Remember, the work which is done. Why will they hire a manager when a computer can manage the employees automatically, better way, without impartiality, right? We are their assistants. If you cannot afford our course cost, money should not be the reason that you are denied a job or you are not enabled to get a job. Just let us know and we will help you every possible way. We do have plans for even £1 or even free if you cannot even afford 100 rupees per month. Why do you get job from us? Why do you think that coming to us? And so of course, we will, like this, I'm going to bring you real life interviews. Apart from that, we make you capable. We make you superhuman. Becoming a superhuman, you can do 100% more work, double the performance. Ideally, we are even working on something which can improve human performance by 10, even 100 times. We are already working on that. Once you get associated with us, you will understand those projects. What are those projects? What are the future? What is the humanity future look like? Well, this is what world future looks like. We are creating the future. You could be the part of that process, learn in the process, join companies and earn in millions. Don't forget about jobless, right? You could be earning in millions. If you're a manager, owner, get work done at 50% cost. Same work, better quality. Remember, our consultants are geniuses. You can document or record 1 hour work and we will get that work done in half an hour with better quality. Doesn't matter which amount of work. Even if it is physical work, we can automate that work. Doesn't matter. No matter what work your employee, your vendor, your offshore team does, we will do it at 50% cost with better quality. And we even guaranteed you, like, if you're unhappy, we will refund you the last hour money charged. Or there's another way to look into the picture. Like, it's not only just cost saving. We could help you increase your revenue by 100%. You can get 200% revenue, right? We can help you increase your profit by 100%. So it's the technology can not only be used to cut costs, technology can also be used to improve, grow your business. Now, don't go down the drain like Blockbuster. Be like a Netflix, adopt technology and automation and rule the world. You will ask why automation? Why IT? Why should bank be automated? Why should all the work be done automatically? Why should IT be ruling everything? The reason is there's a massive amount of work to be done. Massive amount of work to be done. Lakhs of humans are dying every day, which we could easily save. UK, US, Canada, Australia, Europe import human like crazy. They have no people. Thousands and thousands of humans are imported technology, especially on the technology side, even management side, like finance side, because they don't have. There's so much work to be done. They import human like crazy, thousands and thousands. Every flight you go, which is coming down to Heathrow, you will see it's filled with people coming from India. It's not easy. We are only assisting you. We automatically apply for your job. We apply the right job. Watch, practice. Make sure that you watch this video, like the whole interview, actual interview, very carefully. Watch it again and again. Note down the question. You never know that question will be asked to you. We will give you real life test. We will give you mock test, more test and more test. You could get the very same question. We could get you the test from the same client for the same position from even the same interviewer. Like, this is a premium offering. If you're helping us, we will also help you. We will give you access to the same guy who is interviewed some previous guy, and so that you can learn what questions are being asked. You have to practice. Till every question, every answer, every situation, whether it's live test, coding test, stress, it doesn't matter. Till you know answer for every question, we will keep training you. As I said, when you're jobless, you have to do more work, you have to work on more projects, and there is no shortcuts. You have to keep giving mock tests, real interview, mock interview. There is no end to it. We will keep trying. You have to keep trying till you get the job. There's no shortcuts. We can help you. We can make you superhuman. We can make you super genius. But if you don't put effort, you will still not get the job. Just as I said, just software doesn't do anything. Just hardware doesn't do anything either. So you need a proper combination of hardware. Like you need to be genius as well as you need to have the proper software knowledge. Yes, we can force the job to. It's not that. Like you might think that I am forcing the job on you, right? You will get the job even though you don't deserve the job. That's what we have. This program even assist you in doing your work. Sustain your job. So when you get stuck in your job, right, you're doing some work, you can just call us, you can go online, and get answers to your questions. Like, how do I do this? I'm stuck. They have asked me this thing. Because I know our process will let you inside the door without being fully prepared, right? We try to prepare you, but sometimes there will be some tough questions, because obviously when you go to your client, there is obviously a lot of politics. The old guys doesn't like the new guys. They will give you really the tough problem. And it's usually what happens. If there is some existing guy, somehow you will land up in the toughest problem which is in the hand. Because they just want you to fail, They want you to say, hey, this is not the right guy. And that's where we also help you. No matter what is the situation, you can ask us and we will help you. Attitude. Press it. Be superhuman. Be super knowledgeable. You are genius. Remember, and brush it. Yes, so that you are super genius. I can do it. I am among the best. Don't say you are the best. Among the best. For this role, I am the best. If there's one, I'm the best person suitable for this job. Brush it. Right? Don't forget humanity. Don't forget environment. Helpfulness. Remember, geniuses doesn't mean that you're not human. Never forget humanity, because that's what connects one human to another. There's a subtle connection between the interviewer and you, and it's being a human. When you are courteous, when you're selfless, when you work within a team, remember, it's a teamwork at the end of the day. When we are making some product, or when we are making some robot, when we are making software, it's not that you are successful. It doesn't help anybody. The project has to be successful, and remember, that is most important. The humanity has to be successful. The company has to be successful. Remember, you have to focus on company. You have to focus on the humanity. This very subtle thing. Even so, but remember, you have to say, I'm the best person, and we have to be teamwork. Without further ado, I will bring you. I have cut down some portion of the interview to hide the client, because which will be made available if you are, as I said, if you share your interview video with us, or you join the premium program, they get those portions as well. Talk to you later then. Watch me. There's no reason why you will be jobless anymore. As I said, I can't blame you. It's your environment, your hardware and software problem.
So, kick us off with a quick overview of your experience. Tell us what you are, what you do. Yeah?
So I'm basically a front-end expert working in front-end, creating UI, UX, mostly UI, front-end, portal for many organizations. So I've used many kind of framework. Like I started with jQuery, like vanilla JavaScript, then with jQuery, and then Angular, and then also React. And so it's on and off, going here and there, but mostly of late it is mostly React, some React Native, and some Angular as well. And there's still a legacy application which uses jQuery or some other framework like Bootstrap. all those kind of thing. So that's pretty much my overview. Like before that, we were working in portal server, like JSP, ASP, which was again a front-endy kind of thing, but it was done in a different technology and mostly server-side rendering rather than client-side rendering. I've worked in some of the top-end client. Unfortunately, last two client I can't talk because it's a SC cleared role, but it's a similar role working as a team lead, leading the front end part of the equation, also last with the back end team so that I get the correct API, also last with the business analyst to ensure that what they are asking is implementable and then implementing it. And then at the end, we last with the testing team to make sure that they pass the test cases. And then we demo to the business, like, are they happy or they want more stuff? That's pretty much a day-to-day role for last 5 years. I've also acted as an architect. Earlier, my role was a little senior because UK it's a little difficult to get senior role, so I moved to lead or developer role.
Okay, good. Right, you worried me straight away when you used that one word.
Which one?
Expert. Right. So you've set yourself up completely, mate. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Zoom.
Right. Okay. Since you are the expert, yeah. Tell me the top 3 things you would do to improve React.js. What are the 3 things today, in the latest version, you would say, yeah, it's good, but this irritates me, that irritates me, and that irritates me?
Yeah, so React, it has one thing which is pretty, very cumbersome to use is like, it does have component architecture, but it doesn't have a clear path how the component can be reused. Like one of the feature when we used to make component earlier, like portal or JSR or widget, we were reusing the component. React really doesn't have an easy way of reusing any of the components, right?
Yeah, true. Okay, that's good. That's one. I'm giving you the big challenge.
Yeah, then there is only one way, state, there's only one way to update state, which is pain, which does feel, but sometimes it's a pain, you leave to the developer to choose, make it default, but enable it to update the state directly. It need not be read only, always, so do all this set date, and so it does add an overhead to it for valid reason, but you should let it override for developers, like I can set it like, hey, I can update the set if I want it,
And the third one?
Like a passing value among component, it's like prop is not straight. Like we have to use third-party product like Redux and other stuff.
Yeah.
And there are fourth also like
that coming conflict with Redux and React now. One could take over the other over time. So
and I think there's also another fourth one is unstable little bit because there's no one standard. Like Angular has a one standard package, and you could just install one and it works. But React has so many options. You could choose this thing or that thing, and so it is giving us too many options, which is adding to the complexity actually.
Okay, and my last question before I hand you over to the guys is, give us an example of the piece of work that you did that you could safely say was genius. It was you're most proud of. It was, in your mind, even the client didn't realize how good it was. Yeah. Now blow your trumpet. Be the expert. Just take us through that piece that you go,
yeah.
God, I'm so proud. And do you know what? I've been working all night, every night on it because I knew it was right. I knew this could work.
So
yes, example from your career.
Yep, it means that basically most of my projects are remarkable project if you go through that. But I will pick up the. I'm a contractor, right? That's why people pay me high, big amount. So, but I'll pick up the recent example, So we did this thing for core filing. Core filing is a tax filing application. And because of COVID, suddenly government and every company realized like tax roll could change overnight. Like suddenly we could have a furlough, which is 10%, then next day 24%. So one of the challenges with the React app is, as we said, it's very difficult to reuse. And especially with changing requirement overnight, it becomes even more. So what we came up with is in a configurable way of writing a React app. So what we do is we create a library of React app, like input box, state box, whatever field we need, whichever we think is a reusable component, we put in a palette, and then we create a page where we say this page, this application, this filing application, this income tax return has 5 steps. Each step has these many components and these are the rules. And that is totally configurable on the runtime at any time. So this is one of the, because now we are changing tax rule on the fly, and HMRC manager can go there and actually change the rule right away on the fly. And it was using React app, which is like reusing component, changing the layout. You could even ask new data as well, not only changing the rules, but you could say suddenly ask, because of furlough, you need to give more details than what usually asked, right? So you could add those extra field on the fly on the runtime.
And do you know what? I've just come up. Very good. I've come up with another great question.
Go ahead.
This is even more antagonistic. Right? As a React developer, the person I hate working with the most is the UX and product owner. Right, now there's a reason for that, because they come up with what good looks like, yeah? And you're going, but for God's sake, Miles, I gave it away. It doesn't work. I can't build it that way. Give us you know that bit where there's that beautiful, perfect tension between the two of you in the nicest professional way. How do you work? How do you get that engagement? Because some people go at it as a techie and go, Miles, you're not getting, man. You're not getting. The button's over there, but it's not. How do you make that work?
Yes. So basically, it's by pre-engaging with the UX team, like, getting them know each other better. Like when they're working, like, just hanging around with them. Hey, what are you working on? So looking at what they're doing, giving them some suggestion, like what is the latest coming in React. What will, if they do, will speed up development, because this is a component library, and we show to them, hey, here is a component library which this and this party has released, and it's look how great the component look. So basically educate him somewhat of what are the latest thing which is available free of cost, right? And it looks cool. And that will, they will say, oh, this calendar really looks cool. Shall I make some shitty calendar which doesn't look as good? And so it's like changing the direction. And plus we are pre-engaging as well. So we take the UX, before we show it to the business people, we actually show it to the UX. We make him sit with me and we work together, and he say, I don't like this, I change it right there. Oh, it's not possible. What can we do? Can we do a little bit? So we'd agree on a one-to-one agreement, like, hey, this is what UX is happy with it, and this is what meets the business requirement, and then we present it to the business. So like pre-engaging with them, so that UX is on our side rather than against us,
Okay, very good. And I'll hand you over to Miles. Thank you very much.
So you kind of pre-answered my first question, but let me see if I can spin it another way. We are very much of that ilk, by the way. Our team is very much like that. It's not throw it over the fence. We don't just go, here is design in an ivory tower, and then you must deliver this, right? That's not the way it should work.
Exactly.
Give me an example of when maybe the product owner or UX have approached a problem in a story, and they've specified the solution, but you've gone, light bulb moment, no, there's an easy way to do this, right? So what have you focused on, and how have you sort of come around to that light bulb moment, and then how have you acted upon it to negotiate with product?
Okay, so I'll give an example, real life example, which I actually faced. So we built an application for a client, right? AAT, right? We built a very nice login page, login and this everything done and dusted. And we trying to build another portion of the app, but it also had required login field. So obviously, then the UX comes with a new design for the login field. So then obviously we said, this login is a reusable component. This page itself is a reusable component. It makes no sense to redesign the login. So rather than designing the whole flow, UX should focus on component to component basis, because you don't want to redesign the login screen every time you're redesigning an app, because login is a constant across the app and there's single sign-on. So obviously, if you pick up the two requirements, they are conflicting. One is saying do A and one is saying do B. You have to pick up either you want A or you want B. You pick up and we can make it common across the app. The two applications cannot have different login screen for the same app if it's a single sign-on application. So that's a real life example where he eventually agreed. He said, yeah, login is a common component and this is the what new standard I want, or I'm happy with the old, because why waste money with we are just done in 1 month ago. 1 month I wanted login screen to look like this, and suddenly after 1 month my mind changed and I wanted to login screen to look like this. It makes no sense, right? So he agreed to that, like, hey, for future update we will do it, put in a tech depth there, but we didn't implement that login screen changes.
So it sounds like you've had a good breadth of experience with implementing frameworks, UI frameworks. How would you answer the challenge of small team, but small team is going to scale? We may end up with 2, 3, who knows how many SDLC teams, whether it's Scrum, whether it's Kanban, whatever the working method. The objective is to arrive at a way of managing frameworks such that we can handle scalability, to reduce development time, to increase speed to market, but also to maintain consistency in a landscape where we have your kind of bread and butter scaffolding components. Yep, sure, buttons, fields, fine. But you also have very bespoke, data-driven components that are either shared or specific to one area of the interface. So how to handle that, the management overhead of that, and also the reuse of that.
Yeah, so first of all, from UX perspective, UI perspective, we make, as you suggested, we make a component palette available. And the important thing is documentation. How do we really use? Because if we just throw out the component, right, and we have, say, 5 layout component, and we don't explain why are those 5 layout component for, the 6th one comes, he will write, okay, there's already 5, let me add a 6th one, and let me add the 7th one, and so suddenly it becomes unusable. Everybody is just adding their own layout component. So basically we are writing a library of components available, but most important is associated with very good documentation and live example. Like, hey, if you want to see, this is a live running example where you can click and see how this layout is being used. That way it becomes like, hey, whoever new developer comes, hey, I don't need to code this piece, this is already done. It becomes a lot easier. Rather than, if he doesn't understand, he will be more likely to create a new layout, which we don't want, because it's adding to, like, 5 is overhead, 6, 10 is a bigger overhead, So that's one way. Second thing is we write all the framework component, like security, single sign-on, audit purposes, what we require. Do we need if database is not reachable, do we send an alert? What is our framework? So we write all this component and standards. Like, whenever you call some API, you log this, you do this. And how do we turn on debug runtime? Like, production, sometimes we have a debug problem and we have to debug. We can't. Obviously, people want fast turnaround. If we take the dump and but if we can turn on temporarily debug in production and debug it live in production, it speed up stuff sometimes, right? If we get better log, at least where the area fail. There's another functionality called impersonate, right? Impersonate help you behave like, impersonate any user and use the system as him. So this will likely simulate the problem which you're not happening in your account, because that is very likely because of his. So like creating all this framework component and documenting it. How do we use this? Like, when you create a new application, this is a step. First of all, authentication, authorization, then audit login and all those things. We document as we go along. We also write all these guidelines document, like how do we code this kind of situation. We also write some of the template design, like, if we have this component, how do we go about doing it? And of course, everything should be associated with an example, because example gives you a lot more breadth than just plain documentation.
How do you manage proliferation and deviation with, say, pull requests? How do you keep the library intact?
So basically we have one master branch, and we say we could have another develop branch. So master branch is like where we released our stuff, like 1, 2. Develop branch is where people raise pull requests for their own story. Once the pull requests are done, they raise a pull request. So before we raise a pull request, the moment the pull requests are raised, it's like we run it against a CI/CD pipeline. Like we run the test cases which we want, maybe end-to-end test whichever we want. We run check style, linting, and other stuff we want. If there's errors, obviously these are thrown out. Plus, developers are trained to run those things not only in CI/CD pipeline, but even before you check in, you run it in your local environment. Like, we write a script. So CI/CD pipe set should be invocable in your local machine. You don't have to check in the code to know that there's an error in your code. Like linting error, which is normally it's not a runtime error, right? So all this warning, like, use automation to remove as much problem as possible upfront rather than later. So that's a CI/CD pipeline job. Once the pull request is raised, of course, it will not merge. If it's a merge conflict, we review the code, and it also runs this end-to-end test, which is kind of regression testing. Suppose your code is breaking something which you're not intended to break because you change the way audit works, right? But it has unintentional consequences, something down the line in some other part. A normal developer may not understand that consequences, and it may even skip a senior person because, I don't know, like there are like 58, 100 pages, even though you know everything, one single thing can break. So it's very, very important to work with testing team, or if there is no testing team, maybe assign developer to write automated end-to-end or end integration testing, which every check request, before it's even merged, we will run the end-to-end testing.
Thank you. Over to you, Fee.
Thank you. Hi, Praveen. Good to meet you.
Same here.
Very enthusiastic guy. I love the attitude that you come across. It's good. It's encouraging. Let's say. So one of the questions I have, I'm gonna steer away from the technical side. So I need to just understand what your weaknesses are. So give me a few of your weaknesses.
So one of my weaknesses is, like, if I go on a task, right? So I'm started working on this. I find a flaw. I'll start working on that. And when I'm working on that, I will find another flaw in that flaw. And I'll start working on that. The end result will be that I'm in a loop and nothing got done,
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, get drawn fair. From the whole sort of constant development environment. So we in SSE use Microsoft Devops as the kind of we manage the backlogs within it, so on and so forth. What's your experience of using that?
Pretty much it's same as Confluence and it's the same thing, So it's creating the ticket. It's nothing different because some company uses that, some company uses something else, but it's pretty much the same tool actually.
Okay.
Confluence and ticket, Jira ticket is pretty much the same thing.
Okay. From a team management perspective, and what experience have you had of managing a team and being responsible, kind of so as this is a lead software developer role, we would at the moment it's a team of one, so that's what we're replacing at the moment. But as Miles said, the ambitions are to grow it, have multiple teams. So explain to me the experience you've had managing multiple developers and possibly interacting with multiple developers across multiple teams.
Yeah, so basically I've been in team lead, even architect role many times, so not one time, many times, right? So the way we manage, like, I've been where I'm the lead, like, I started the project from scratch. I started as one person, I'm the only guy, and we started the project, like, started kickstarting what is the framework you want to use, get the zero code done, and so that is hello world is running, right? Those kind of, and then we started hiring the people. So I'm engaged in building up the team, sometime even interviewing them, and then building up the team and gradually bringing up to the staff. I've also worked with consulting company, where they directly take interns, like, they take hundreds of interns and they just assign 5 or 6 because they obviously because they always want permanent people, right? We are top end people will always leave, So if they have a continuous process of input and output, they will always have some people in the pipeline. So you have, and the plus interns doesn't cost much money to the company, so we could take, even if we require 1 people, we'll take 3 interns for the project, and we will try to use them wherever possible. So I have a very good experience making them utilize, and eventually they become, in fact, I've seen them very, very enthusiastic, more than the senior developers. Like, they are very eager to run latest because there's no relearning, Old developers, we have to retrain them. Like, I went to one client and I was trying to teach him jQuery at that time, and it was such a no, this is the way we do stuff here. I said, yeah, that's why the company management has got me to train you, this guy. And it was a very because I had to rate the guys after the course. and I couldn't tell them that your layoff could be decided on my feedback, because I'm not allowed to tell that. But I was giving me all the hint that you were supposed to use this way. So I have a pretty good experience bringing up the team to the speed. Sometimes we have to, as I said, I'm a fan of documentation. If you make the code like anybody, even a fresher could come, follow the documentation and get the app running, right? Whether he can edit the component or not, he can Google it, how to edit it. But at least getting the app running should be a cakewalk. And 90% of project I have seen, myself have struggled because they have such a complex process. You have to start MQ there, you have to do that, and they forget something, and then you have to talk to few people to get in. And you know what, we updated this and we forgot to update the documentation. So one of the most important thing is keep a starter pack ready, which is executable straight away. Developer comes, he doesn't have to talk to me. I said, hey, why don't you go ahead, read the README and get started. Then what I do is also plan for a demo of the person, right? Because if you know the application, you get a feel of it. You can talk a lot about it, like, oh, this is what this guy done. But unless you see the application, he doesn't get a feel of it. What is the breadth and what we are talking? Are we talking 100 pages or 100 pages of what complexity, right? So if we give a demo, quick demo to the newcomers, they understand what they are going to work. Maybe it will be challenging, and it also gives us we also take a feedback from new users, like, hey, what do you think about it? So it's also a chance for improving our product as well, because new member comes, he sees something, hey, this is how could be done better, so it's a pretty. So I've worked in one member team. I've also been shipped to India, there were some consulting company like Cognizant hired me, and had 50 offshore resources. I was not the lead, right? I was just a very expensive guy compared to the, that's all I was, a very expensive guy. And manager in Cognizant office said, you know what, I'm taking you back to my Bangalore office. And that's what he did. He actually booked all my tickets and everything. And I was in Bangalore office, 50 people. They had their own team. I was working with this team, then with this team, like different team were working on different functionality. And I was actually reviewing ad hoc architecture, sometimes design, sometimes coding. Sometimes I was resolving the performance problem because they have done the application, but it was taking like 40 seconds to load the page. So why it was taking 47 seconds? So I was working, hopping around to make sure that whatever is the fire on that floor, it was like a big floor, 50 people, and there was a big deadline coming in, and I was going one fire after next fire and after next fire, So I have quite a breadth of experience. I've worked in cross culture, like I've worked in Romania team, and then the team was in Japan and China and USA, and I was in UK. So I've worked cross geography team, of course, multidisciplinary as well. Like I've been to NatWest, like RBS, right? RBS, I've worked with the directors to come up with the I was talking to the top executive, or RBS is not one.
Praveen, I'm going to stop you there. I've got that's also my question. More than enough, thank you.
All right, okay, Praveen, Parvin. We're going to go to put our thoughts together.
Okay, so
absolutely love the passion you have for doing your job. It's fantastic.